Right, so recording now. I'm just going to put it on big screen just so. How do I do that? Oh yeah, full screen. I'm just going to let the bottom bit go up. Right, guys. Well, we've got to do another interview today. We've got Thomas Campbell, 37, from Northern Ireland, Derry. He's got a fishing group, Fishing in Support of Hope, which is abbreviated FISH. So that group basically is to help guys who are going through similar situations as ourselves. We've got mental health issues, and basically just showing them the benefits of what they can get out of fishing, as it did for us. So anyway, nice to meet you, Thomas.
Nice to meet you as well, Dave.
How's it going, pal? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Hi, good.
So how did you get into starting this group of yours then?
Well, it started off with there's a couple of groups that I be on in Derry itself here, and it's all lads, and they just talk about their issues and their problems, and just lending a bit of support and help each other. And I noticed there was a whole lot of men putting up about looking to join groups, and if you weren't really into sports, you weren't athletic, there wasn't really much for you to get into. And I just thought to myself, like, what about fishing? And I put it out there. Just one Saturday night, I was sitting in the girlfriend's house and stuck it up to see would there be much interest in it, and it just went crazy. The amount of interest that came out within the first couple of days was unbelievable. Like, it was overwhelming.
So what people reaching out to you and could relate to what you've been through?
I didn't really go into much detail to start with. It was more just, would there be much interest in people joining a group?
Yeah.
Didn't even have a name. It was just a crazy idea that I thought, maybe I'll get 10, 15 people interested and we'll have a wee group of lads that we'll go and do a bit of fishing with. And that was my original plan. And as I said, as soon as it went up, it just went crazy. The amount of messages and Facebook posts that were coming out of it was phenomenal.
So when did you actually bring the mental health side of it into it then?
Well, the mental health was always there. It's something that's helped me massively overcome my own mental health. I had suffered really bad with addiction and anxiety and depression. And fishing it's a gateway for me to be able to get that release that I need to just get away from everything that's going on in my life.
You mind me asking what addiction that was you had?
Alcohol. Ongoing addiction for about the last 15 years or so.
So what were you self-medicating with the alcohol because of your symptoms you was getting?
I think the alcohol itself brought on a lot of symptoms, the depression and stuff. Like, after the odd days drinking, you couldn't face the world with the hangovers. Always led on to another day's drinking and then another day's drinking, and it just progressed. But the more the drinking got, the heavier the depression and the anxiety got. Where it just completely took over my life, consumed everything. Like, people go on about having anxiety and depression. Just get over it and get out. It's not that easy. Like, no. From where I was back a year and a half ago, like, there was one stage there that I'd locked myself in my flat for nearly 3 months. Didn't go outside, didn't speak to nobody, couldn't face anybody. With just the levels of anxiety that were going through me. Even somebody texting me would have set my anxiety levels off through the roof. I never knew what an anxiety attack was. I just thought I forgot to breathe half the times whenever I couldn't catch my breath. Until somebody explained to me, no, that's an anxiety attack that you were taking. Didn't know what they were. I just thought half the times there was forgetting how to breathe.
Yeah. So at what point then did you realize that obviously your drinking had spiraled out of control, your mental health wasn't getting better, if anything, it was getting worse by the day? At what point did you think, right, I need to sort this out? Was it through somebody intervening, or was it through yourself?
No, like it's with my addiction, and it's something that was always highlighted to me that I did drink a bit too much. But again, I could never see it.
Yeah.
It was only like it came to a head in them 3 months there that I locked myself in my flat, like drinking myself silly. And I ended up going a full week of just being sick. Not being able to keep even water down, taking water just coming straight back out of me again, like.
Yeah.
And I just thought that I can't go on living the way like I'm living. I just can't do this anymore. If I continue on the way that I'm going, there's only going to be one way that I'm going to come out of it.
Yeah.
So I decided then that I was going to go and get help, and I tried before to get help, but I never wanted it before. Where with this time it was something that I really wanted.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. Like I didn't have nobody else at the time, because of my drinking and my anxiety and my depression. I pushed everybody away from me. Anybody get close enough or questioned was sort of tell where to go. So at that time there was nobody to pull me out of the hole that I was in. I sort of had to do it myself. But now it's.
You sound like a very confident, outspoken guy. Anyway, so I'm assuming that's shit or what.
I was growing up. I was always really outgoing, very loud. Probably would have heard me half the times before you seen me. And then as it went on into my late 20s and stuff, with the depression and anxiety, like that all just sort of went away. For the job that I was doing, you had to be that outgoing, loud person, and I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't be that person. Especially when I didn't want to speak to people. The thought of having to sit and have a full scale conversation with somebody dreaded me with fear.
I can relate to it.
Yeah, it's mental when you think back of how crazy that you've put yourself on that situation, where the only way that I could find my way out of it was through drink, but the drink was making it worse, so I was drinking more.
Yeah, definitely.
It was just a revolving door. Look at the depression and anxiety got worse, and the drinking got worse.
Yeah. So what was that then? Was that a detox or rehab you went in? What was the process?
No, what I done, I actually went first. Sorry, the cat's attacking the table. I first went on I actually started going to AA meetings, just to see and being able to relate to people where I was and where I was coming from, was something that I really found that helped. And then after a few weeks, I was sober for about 6 or 7 weeks in. Thought I had it under control, thought I knew what I was doing, and started going back out again. Worst mistake I ever done. Ended up
back into that cycle.
Ended up back on it 10 times worse.
So just like moments, time of sobriety followed by a period of just heavily drinking, just falling back into that trap.
It's just my own cockiness. Frank, 6 weeks sober. I've got this now.
Again, I can relate to all that,
and then as I said, it ended up 10 times worse. And then just after Christmas last year, that I decided I can't do this. I can't keep going on the way that I'm living. Decided to get help, and so I actually reached out to a local centre here, a place called Northlands. They're an addiction centre, and I ended up getting in there to do a 6-week residential program, which helped me out massively they look at myself, they look at my drinking, they come to terms with the person that I turned into through my drinking. That it was probably the best thing that I ever done, the hardest thing I ever done, but definitely the best thing that I ever done. They come out the other side, like.
So when was that then, if you don't mind me asking?
That was the start of March last year. I went on there. I went on there on the 2nd of March, but we ended up having to close because of COVID. So coming out of there, and after 3.5 weeks, and when we're on there, like, you have no phone, barely any TV. It's just counselling sessions, and you're limited to what kind of contact you have with anybody outside. So you don't really know what's happening, like. So
they cut the rehab short and basically just not put you out on the street, so to speak, but to left to your own devices to recover.
Well, we did. Whenever I was coming out of the treatment centre, I actually had to go down as being homeless.
Wow.
I actually had to go and live in a B&B. My family sort of were a bit weary. Just scared in case I went back drinking. And I can understand where they're coming from. Over the years, I've told them that many times that I've stopped. But you can understand the fears that they've had.
Yeah, of course.
So I knew it was something that I had to do, not just for them, but for myself. I thought about it. I could use it as an excuse to go back drinking. But then I thought about the 3.5 weeks that I put in beforehand and coming up the 3 months sober, and I just thought, no, it's not worth throwing everything that I've gained already away for just to throw it back in somebody's face like I would have done beforehand.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It wasn't easy. But again, I definitely, it was something that helped me.
So when you finished that rehab, then did you go straight into doing your alcohol meetings, your AA meetings, whatever it is? So did you use the services?
Yeah. So they supplied then a counsellor. So I have my own counsellor then, where I get coming out of there, I had 2 phone calls a week where they're constantly checking up on you. They're there for whenever you need them. So I could have texted or rang at any stage that I needed to speak to them or talk to them, like they were always there. And I got on online meetings. Just they start talking. I really found that speaking out and talking about my feelings and just expressing how I was feeling that day really helped me overcome.
It's just raising that awareness and speaking about your issues. It's hard at first, like as you know it is, but again, it's the best thing, isn't it? Once you do air that frustration, that you get everything out in the open off your chest, and life just begins to get easier, doesn't it?
Well, I always thought to myself, like, I've been a very closed person. I was never somebody turned around and opened up about my feelings. But now that I don't have an issue, like, I'll talk to anybody that's got 5 minutes to listen. So at the very start, I did find it really hard to speak open. Now, like, I don't have any issues on it. That I think it's more understanding my feelings, where beforehand, a lot of times that if I had felt anything, it would have been covered up with a drink. So it's actually learning how to not just have feelings, but how to deal with your feelings as well, that has really helped me. But you say, like, speaking out and coming to terms, it's always been a very big stigma with men, that it's something that can't be done. So groups like these here, and like yourself, and what you're doing, been able to speak openly that there's nothing wrong with feeling down, there's nothing wrong with feeling poor.
And it's like Craig said, who I spoke to last week, it's okay not to be okay, and he's totally right in what he says. Nothing to be embarrassed about, and that's how I see it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my off days where I have got anxiety, and I sort of do want to be left alone. And my girlfriend sort of can read my body language to say, if I'm having a little blip, so to speak. There's nothing worse than somebody asking if you're okay, though. I don't know how you feel.
Well, still get that quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm, as I say, because I'm a very outgoing, very talkative person. I think I like to hear my own voice quite a lot. But there are times then that I do like to have my quiet times where I just like to chill out.
Well,
And
this is where the fishing comes into it, is it not?
I'm never as happy as I am whenever I'm standing on the river. With a rod in my hand.
I can see your face light up just
Oh
talking.
man, hey.
Amazing.
That's like, it's just talking to boys in the group all the time about days out that I've had fishing, and
Yeah.
people don't know, people that have never been on a river, or like the majority of fishing I do myself is salmon, sea trout.
Yeah.
So I'd be on the water up to me waist, with a fly rod in my hand, and I'm walking down. There's nobody else around me, and it's all you're doing. I'm just waiting for that fly just to pull at the end of the line, and that's all my concentration's on. That's all I can think about, and anything else outside of.
So when you was in recovery, I know you are in recovery now, in your early stages, let's say, what got you back into that fishing then? I mean, is it something that you've done in the past, growing up as a kid, or is it something new, a new hobby?
No, where I live, in Derry, it's in the north of Ireland. Like, there's a river comes down the middle of the town, the River Foyle, and it feeds quite a lot of rivers off it. But for me, it was always a 2-minute walk out we call it the line, out the line where you go fishing. So from no age, me and all my mates, that's what we done. Out, packed up the rods, tub of worms, out there all day, and caught trout, like, and we were doing that from no age. You go back 28, 29 years where if your kids went out it all day long, they were down to it, and that's where I would have been, out fishing all day. It's quite the happiest person ever, like.
So do you get out much, and it continues to be a supporter, really? Like, are you out with your mates a lot? Do you get people out your group going fishing with you, or?
No, at the minute, with the current lockdowns, like I've only had the group's only started there about 3 months. I've had 2 outings. I held an outing in November and one in December, and both times we had about 30 people out.
Wow.
But in between that, like, the group's growing. There's nearly 750 members, something like that, on the group.
Brilliant.
And they're all into the same kind of fishing. Trout fishing.
What's your group called again?
Fish. F.I.S.H.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you then. Just tell us what it is again, mate.
So it's fish, it's spelled F-I-S-H, and it's fishing in support of hope.
Brilliant.
So it's more or less exactly what it says on there. We're fishing in the support of hope.
They just have to basically type that in, F-I-S-H, into the
Facebook. F.I.S.H. Yes. I'll put a wee link here as well on the post.
And then people just can join the group and you can accept them. Yep, brilliant.
Yeah.
Spot on, mate. 100%. So, are you fishing, like, do you fish for a club or anything up your way, or is it?
No. There is some clubs. There is a couple of clubs. They're no real. Trying to really think what way to put it. But no, there's sea fishing clubs, pike clubs. Unless you're on a river, then you're going under the angling club for that river. But again, then getting onto some rivers is really hard around here, because of the quality of fishing in them. Like some of the rivers here, there's one there they call the Mighty Morn. People are waiting 20 years to get on it, because the salmon fishing, they say it's probably one of the best in Europe for salmon. It's 20 minutes up the road from me, like, it's crazy.
Brilliant.
But you have the Roe, the Faughan, the Fun, and then there's a wee small river that I fish, the Dennet. Great wee river for sea trout, salmon. It's only a wee small river. It's about 10 feet wide, the majority of the river, but it's great. I love it.
Yeah, you can tell, mate. So have you been catching recently, or how to be fishing?
The fishing ended here for the rubbers. We only do a short season. It's only like from April to September, roughly. So outside of that, then it's a while lot of trout fishing, rainbow trout fishing. So we have quite a lot of lakes close enough to where I am, where you have trout fishing. Also, there's a pike fishing as well. There's the Oaks fishery called. Check it out as well. It's unreal for pike. They've won there. It was caught quite a couple of years ago. It was called Big Mary. Came on at £46. So there's always a hunt to see.
Is there a picture of that on your page?
No, I'll get it from their page and put it up. Put it on my page.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we have another one. Then it's a trout fishery, catch and release. But a lot of the group fish it. So I've started a competition now between now and the start of the season. So between now and the 31st of March.
Brilliant.
Anybody that wants to be on the competition puts a tenner in, and whoever's caught the biggest trout come the 31st of March picks the pot. So it's to get a wee bit of competition and all going from the group, like, and that's to be good.
So what have you got plans? What you've got planned with the group? Anything for the future? Anything coming up this year or?
Well, this year, like I put it out to the group of what to be interested in. A lot of them are new to river fishing, new to fly fishing in general. So I have organised some classes with a couple of professional fly casting teachers who are going to run some classes for spey fishing, the double-hander fly rods and stuff for the rivers. I'm going to try to get some classes as well done up for fly tying. With the amount of stuff that I've been given, and I've also purchased myself for the group, I've set quite a lot of people up with fly tying kits. Just to start getting the tying, and again, it's helped me massively this year. Just at night.
What's that buzzing?
It's the cat has got a wee.
All right. Is it my ears, that?
No, the cat has got like a wee toy that he's torturing. Put it away. But no, just trying to get boys on the tying, like, it's something that I find really therapeutic.
Yeah, an art in itself, isn't it?
Just see that, just thinking of something that might catch you a fish, and then tying it onto a hook, and then putting it at the end of your line and catching a fish with it. It's
I've never
never
once been fly fishing.
Oh, we'll have to get you over then, and we'll get you on the river.
I said next time I'm in Ireland. I've never been to Northern Ireland, but if I come over for sure, we'll have to definitely sort something out. A big game for that.
Oh, 100%, man, definitely. But no, that's like catching a wild fish on something that you designed and tied yourself, and no better feeling than it. Like it's amazing.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Right, Paul. It's been. I really appreciate your time on. It's been brilliant talking to you, and it's brilliant.
Same with you, man.
Long may it continue. So, do you want to just give your page a little plug again, just so the guys know where to go? Yeah,
well, I'll drop it under the comments as well. But if you search fish f.i.s.h on Facebook, it should take the. It's a closed group. As I say, I don't want anybody just coming on, because I have put away a lot of personal details about myself on there, just to be very open. So it is on there now. We are hopefully as well getting a women's group up and running. I got a bit of stick off from the Pippers. It was put up as a men's only group. I got quite a few messages from some women going, "What do you mean men's only?"
Yeah, so they're right though. I mean, tell you what, it's a sport for anybody, isn't it?
Well, that's it. That's the way I seen it then was, look, mental health is not sexist. It's not going to take a stance against anybody. So
exactly, mate.
Why not put it out there for them?
Yeah. Well, good on you, mate. Good on you for noticing that. Right then, pal. Well, like I say, it's been great talking to you and appreciate your time. And I'll definitely be keeping my eye out what you're up to on all the success with everything you're doing.
We'll definitely keep in touch anyway. And we'll say if we ever get over, we'll definitely tie in for a fishing.
100%, my mate. All right, you take it easy.
Cheers, thank you.
See you later, mate.
Right, bye.